Welcome back, everyone. Nick and Lex here. Thank you so much for joining me today to this new episode of Music with Nick. Oh boy, we got a good project today by Kevin. I'm super stoked. Can't wait to hear this. Thank you so much for being back here on the channel, checking it out. We're super happy to be back, and we already made 2 reactions, Alexia and I, and then I just uploaded a marathon I just did, and oh boy, there's so much going on with YouTube and the laws. Literally in the last video, I said like, oh yeah, YouTube only scans the first song, and it's all good. And now when I uploaded this new marathon, they changed back to the old format that they had around like November or so. So pretty much they're gonna scan all the songs that are on the marathon. So we have to pretty much do our old Warner Brothers kind of backup song that I'll be incorporating. Now with this here, I don't think we're gonna have any trouble. This is a marathon by Kevin. I'll check right now while we listen to the music for if we need anything by Warner. The good thing is Genesis is under Warner Brothers. That's what I think, but I could be wrong. But it doesn't matter. I'm gonna add something by Warner Brothers at the end. Oh yeah, it's all Universal. Well, it doesn't matter. This is a fantastic idea by Kevin, and I'm gonna read a little bit about it here. I want to thank Kevin for this marvelous idea, and of course, I just posted. I literally went stealth. I didn't want to overwhelm anyone and so I didn't post anything about releasing the marathons, but I guess you guys just like started looking and you found that I released, slots to sponsor marathons. I do appreciate it so much so far. All you guys, who have been, who have sponsored marathons, we have JK, we have Michael, we have Kevin, we have Jeff, Dave, Scott, and BMAC. It's like I had no idea. I thought it was gonna take a while, but I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be, reacting and talking about music. And I played so much guitar during these 3 weeks, like I think like 40 hours or so, which is the norm. I used to play, I guess, like 80 hours a week back in the day, but now, I'm trying to go back there. So this is a fantastic idea by Kevin. I'm gonna read a little bit here. It says, first of all, Kevin welcomes us back, and thank you so much. And we're gonna do this is part 1 of this idea. So it says the purpose of this marathon is to engage in a fun little what if, and I love what ifs. I've always loved what ifs in anything like Star Wars and stuff like that. So what if fantasy? What if Steve Hackett hadn't left Genesis in 1977, excuse me, after Wind and Wuthering? And what if Tony Banks and Mike Rutherford hadn't done solo albums in 1979 while Phil was tending to his marriage? We might have gotten a 1978-1979 Genesis album, and what would have that sounded like? I read it a little bit different here, sorry. Also a way to expose the channel to more Genesis solo projects. And then here's the link. So I think this is an amazing idea. I would love to do this with every band. What if like Metallica hadn't like gone soft or something? So the first title is by Steve Hackett. It's called Every Day, from the album Spectral Mornings. This is from 1979. We have Hackett on the electric and acoustic guitar and synth, Pete Hicks on vocals, Dick Cadbury on bass, Nick Magnus on keyboards, and John Shear on drums. So I'll go with every song. I'll reintroduce the artist and the band. So let's go for it. Let's go for a little ride here with Steve Hackett. I think Steve Hackett is an amazing guitar player. I think he is the inventor of the tapping. I mean, not the inventor. There was an Italian guy who did it, I think in the 20s or 30s, but he's the one who did it first on the electric guitar. I think even before Eddie Van Halen did it. And even though they credit Eddie Van Halen, but I think he should receive the bigger credit because he did it first on a distorted electric guitar. The Italian guy did it on the acoustic. So, but yeah, that's, you know, up for whatever you want. But yeah, so here we go with the first song, Steve Hackett, Every Day. Enjoy, and thank you so much. Here we go. that was a lot, of course, the process, but now it's crazy how much Genesis sounds like Steve Hackett. I mean, and then when he left, I guess, you can hear it. I'm not a specialist at all yet, when it comes to Genesis. They are, as I've said before, they are my favorite 70s prog band, hands down. And because, I guess, also because of Steve Hackett, he has a lot to do there. I love his, neoclassical approach to the electric guitar instead of blues. That's just like, not that I don't like the blues, I love the blues, but I just love that playing. That's what I grew up with. That's what I practiced. Scales like this, arpeggios, tapping, melodic minor scales and stuff like that, just like very neoclassical ideas. And that's what, I just love that sound by Genesis. And he really, this sound, if somebody would have asked me, I mean, of course the voice gives it away that it's not Genesis, but I would have been like, wow, this sounds a lot like Genesis. If somebody would have played this to me without telling me this is Steve Hackett, it's a great sounding song on this album. I didn't want to interrupt. There was so much happening. There was these guitar harmonies, great, amazing drumming, amazing synth, the keyboards, just the soloing. I love the singing. Everything was there. It sounded so much like he sounds like it, like he sounds in Genesis. So this was very good, very, very tasty, and I can't wait to listen to more, just by himself. So this is a great idea because, yes, definitely a Genesis fan, like a real Genesis fan. I can't say I'm a Genesis fan because I don't know everything, but a real connoisseur would be like, yeah, this is definitely Steve Hackett on the guitar, and it sounds like them, So, okay, so let's continue. This is a much shorter song, so I don't know if I'm going to interrupt. I don't even know what I'm going to play at the end because all these songs are non-Warner Brothers. I'll find something, maybe at the end I'll make it. Okay, this is not part of the album because this is a two marathon. It's like side one, of the Missing Genesis album. So at the end, I'm just going to add something just for a safety net for the marathon if it gets blocked, because they have blocked like some Thin Lizzy and some stuff, because all the songs were UMG pretty much. So yeah, so it's crazy because literally every day they're changing the rules. So I have to adapt and also tell you guys, don't do that. Like, and because now everybody's like, hey, it's so much easier and we don't need those Warner Brothers stuff. But now it looks like we do. Okay, so next song is from the amazing Tony Banks. I think he is the core of Genesis for me. I mean, my favorite parts of Genesis, and when it comes to the whole thing, is Tony Banks. So this is from the Undertow, from the album A Curious Feeling, October 1979. This was originally composed by Tony as intro part to Tony's song Undertow from And Then There Were Three, but they decided to cut it out for space reasons when space was still a problem. That sucks. But I mean, okay, here we go. So this was basically going to end up on Genesis, which is amazing, and thank you, Kevin, for letting us know, because this is like stuff that I know that Kevin is a connoisseur, and when it comes to Genesis, I mean, I guess even more. I mean, I know you know your stuff, So this Banks, all keyboards, guitars, and bass. Chester Thompson drums and percussion. Here we go. This is from the Undertow. Here we go. Insane. I can hear Phil in my head. So good. I could literally hear, because of the chord progressions, and they're so, of course, this sounds very Genesis, like like that. I could hear literally Phil Collins' voice, not words, but just what the way, like, you respond to chords like that, you know. Maybe I could do a little, you know, a what if. I could maybe add some acoustic guitar as a voice, because I could literally hear what he would have sung, you know, in a weird way, because there is a pattern to Phil Collins' way he sings, the way he approaches chords, the way he layers his lyrics on top of those chords, and what scales he uses. It just like, it is a pattern that you kind of recognize, and then, you know, it is his way of doing things. And then, like, Peter Gabriel had a very distinctive way. So yeah, so I could kind of like hear that. It's weird, you know, but yeah. So from the same album, that was beautiful. It sounded so Genesis, crazy. Because I mean, I don't know what era really, you know, but just from the stuff that I've heard before. So this is from the same album. This is called You by Tony Banks, from also A Curious Feeling, and we have Kim Beacon on vocals, and the same keyboards and drums, of course. So let's give it up. For that is a little bit longer, so let's give it a spin. You.
How strange, I never noticed your eyes are the color of your hair. It seems to me you grow more beautiful in every way, with every single passing day. Love crept in unseen, found me wanting. I didn't even have the sense to know what I was missing or what I was soon to feel. For you, the laughter, you a reason to live. You, the object of all the love I can give, and all that I possess. You who meant nothing when some changes I foresaw, but not this one. This feeling I would not have understood. Strange to think I might have lived my whole life without you. The laughter, you a reason to live. You the object of all the love I can give, and all that I possess. You meant nothing when.
Okay, I do have to pause sometime. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna remember everything that's happening, but I love that it sounds very Genesis in the way the chords are being, added on and then diminished. It's like a typical thing that I love about Genesis. The chord progressions are very, yes, like they expand in a way that's very, very beautiful. And I think Tony has a lot to do with that. I guess his background in music, which is very extensive, and you just hear it the way it's being arpeggiated, that guitar, like, I don't know, like there's just like, it's such a beautiful thing when you play a chord and then you add one finger to that chord and it changes everything. And and sometimes keyboard players, they add two more notes or take one away, and add, like, I don't know, a 7th or an 11th or whatever, and it just creates like this beauty, and this is what Tony does so well in Genesis and as a solo artist. I love the singing, I love the drumming. It's like this fast pace, Phil Collins style. I love that they stick to their guns, like yes, they're making a solo album, but it's still the music they love to play. It still sounds like the band, that they're in. And that's why Genesis sounds the way it sounds, because they have a certain musical style that they want to, convey to the world, and even though it's not with the band and maybe it's not the singer that they want to have, but they still make it in that way. It still sounds like Genesis because that's what they play, and that's the beauty of this. And that's why this is such a good idea. Okay, let's keep going.
I was younger.
Okay, a little bit of Steve Hackett there. Wow. There you have it. You know that they must have had so much fun. You know, trading licks. You know, like Steve Hackett and Tony Banks, because they're both so classical influenced. What a great track. I loved it. This was so good. Okay, so we're gonna continue with Steve. This is a let's see. This is a song from Steve Hackett, Please Don't Touch Us, the album from April 1978. This was originally composed by Steve for Genesis' Wind and Wuthering album to be included with the Quiet Earth section, but Genesis rejected it. Okay, I remember the Quiet Earth. Hackett electric and acoustic guitar, Roland guitar, synth, mellotron, John Aycock keyboards, John Hackett flute, piccolo, keyboards, bass pedals, Chester Thompson drums and percussion. So that's kind of cool that Chester worked with Tony and with Steve on the side, you know. Awesome. Okay, so give me just one moment. All right, we're back, and here we go with Please Don't Touch by Steve Hackett. Enjoy. Here we go. it was just I guess it just like bled into a next song, but this was amazing. I can't believe they cut that out. They didn't go with this. This sounds literally like this is 1978. This sounds like modern 90s, 2000s Dream Theater. Proggy, super proggy. I'm literally looking for something because I do have to add something by Warner Brothers, and Dream Theater are with Warner, and I was like, okay, what's a Genesis song a Dream Theater song that sounds like Genesis? And there's so much to read here because pretty much Genesis influenced every neo prog band, pretty much everything. So there is one song that I have in mind that we could do because you guys obviously like Peter Gabriel, and there is a song by Dream Theater that screams Salisbury Hill. So we're gonna do that at the end, but we're gonna finish with Forever Morning by Tony Banks. And this is again from A Curious Feeling, same musicians, and then he says to be continued on side or part 2 soon. And we already have an agreement here, Kevin and I, that these Genesis, these Tony Banks songs, or these songs are already, we're gonna like pretty much they're like reserved. So if you guys like see this, and I guess I'm not gonna spoil anything, but or maybe I would, I don't know. But there's 4 songs that are pretty much like, yeah, don't touch, because we're gonna use them for the next marathon. So yeah, just don't pick out anything right now by Tony Banks. Oh, I'm just gonna say them so you know. So it's gonna be Moonshine by Mike Rutherford. I've never heard this, so for me, it's pretty much like I don't even know what we're talking about here. The Waters of Lethe by Tony Banks. Inside and Out by Genesis. And the other one is a surprise. I don't want to spoil the entire thing, but yeah, pretty much we're going to do the second part. And then also we're going to talk about the musical box very, very soon. That concert was one of my favorite concerts ever in my life. So, okay, so here we go with Forever Morning by Tony Banks. a trip. I love it. So good. Beautiful, very like a beautiful orchestration and big sound. Again, I could totally hear like da, dee, da, da, dee, dee, da, da, da. Like, you know, like Phil Collins in my head, of course, but with his unique voice, like doing his little, you know, the way he just graces the chords in a so special way. Like, but also, I don't know who I love more, Peter Gabriel or Phil Collins. It's literally like the same. Like, since I wasn't born in that time and I never had Peter Gabriel first and then later Phil Collins, I don't really care. Both are amazing and I both enjoy them the same. And when we watched a musical box, I mean, the guy was literally, he became Peter Gabriel. He even like he would clear his voice like, so, and then blah 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 blah, you know, and then he would do like literally the way he would clean his throat. I was like, what? Like, and then we proceeded to jump on the body, and I'm like, what's going on here? You know, yeah, I want to make a full video about this with Alexia. It was just amazing, and we had a great friend with us. You know, I'm not gonna spoil who it is, and we were just like bawling. Like, I was like bawling the entire time. It was so emotional to hear these songs live the way they were recorded in the 70s. Perfect, pitch perfect. So it was just an amazing experience. But I want to do it with Alexia. I'm not gonna spoil anything else. So here, so now to just to, you know, save our butts here, and I don't want this to get blocked, so I'm gonna do some Dream Theater, which is Warner Brothers, and I'm gonna do this song, which pretty much everybody swears by. That it sounds like Peter Gabriel, which is called Salisbury Hill, by Peter Gabriel as a solo artist. So this is called, the song that we're talking about is called Solitary Shell. Wow, I haven't heard that in, I think, maybe 10 years or more. This is from the album, a great album, great progressive, concept album actually, which has the glass prison, blind faith. Oh Lord, this is from 2002. I remember when this came out, I was just obsessed with this band. But this is pretty much, it's gonna cut off. It's gonna suddenly start because this is a song that are basically which is put into 8 parts, like with an overture. And I don't know, I should do this or something else, but it's everything is so long. Let's just do it. Let's see. You guys, I've heard Salisbury Hill just once, and then I heard it live when we went to see Peter Gabriel. So let's you guys are going to be the judges. This is not part of Kevin's marathon anymore, but I try to keep it as close as possible. Give me just 1 second. Because Genesis, if I would go and put a Genesis song on, it says that they're under Rhino, but when I let me just go to a Genesis video here on my channel, on our channel. Genesis. Let's see, The Knife. Let's look under copyrights, and then we can see who actually owns this music. The Knife. UMG. That's exactly what I don't want. It's so weird because that's what it used to be. I think UMG bought the rights to this music from Warner. So that's the problem. Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, I could do Jethro Tull. Jethro Tull. Yeah, Jethro Tull is actually Warner Brothers. So, man, you know what? I'm just gonna do Jethro Tull because I know that you guys are more in love with Jethro Tull than Dream Theater. I mean, I just know. And then we get some Warner Brothers on here. Now the problem is, what should I play? Cross-Eyed Mary would be fun. That's a tune that Iron Maiden recorded. Let me see if it's on here. If it's not, then I'll do that. Again, remember, guys. Oh no, we did Cross-Eyed Mary on it's called Monday Marathon. Yeah, those are the the videos that are just forgotten. People just don't watch them because they're so old, Aqualung. It's from the Aqualung Mother Goose. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Why don't we just do the Dream Theater thing, I really I want your opinion. I mean, it's not, it's just, it's literally just, for the marathon to not get blocked. So it doesn't have anything to do with, Kevin's marathon. So let's just play this. Let's see what happens. Let's go.
Just a healthy, normal boy. His mama always did her best, and he was daddy's pride and joy. He learned to walk and talk on time, but never cared much to be held. And steadily he would decline into his solitary shell. As a boy he was considered somewhat odd, kept to himself most of the time. He would daydream in and out of his own world, but in every other way he was fine. He's a Monday morning lunatic, distant from time to time. Lost within himself, in his solitary shell. Temporary catatonic madman on occasion. When will he break out of his solitary shell?
Wow, so this takes me way back. I mean, I remember this. I was so young. When this is such a long time ago when I still know the lyrics, man. It's crazy. But yeah, let me know. I mean, obviously James Labrie is no Peter Gabriel, that's for sure. And but musically, I mean, Dream Theater is pretty, I mean, they're amazing, you know. But I don't know if it even comes close, you know, to that song. But you guys let me know, okay? So all right, let's continue. So I feel the tone that he's using here, Jordan Rudess, on the keyboard is a little bit reminiscent of, you know, of Tony's tone. But you'll be the judge, you know.
Struggled to get through his day. He was helplessly behind. He poured himself onto the page, writing for hours at a time. As a man, he was a danger to himself, fearful and sad most of the time. He was drifting in and out of sanity, but in every other way, he was fine. He's a Monday morning lunatic, distant from time to time. Lost within himself, in his solitary shell. A momentary maniac with casual delusions.
Yes, okay. So that was a lot of fun. Just to listen to this again was a riot. I do have to give it to Dream Theater. I mean, and I'm so happy that Mike Portnoy, the drummer here, is back in the band after like about 14 years. It's a trip. Like if you've never seen them live, go at least once. It's a great time, you know. It's obviously a band influenced by Rush and Dream and Dream Theater, Rush, Marillion, Genesis, King Crimson, Pink Floyd. They have a little bit of everything in there, you know. Great musicians, very very capable, you know. So yeah. So I hope you enjoyed. I had a blast. Thank you so much, Kevin. This was an amazing idea. I can't wait to do number 2. This was just awesome. Thank you so much, Kevin, for sponsoring this video. Thanks everyone for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you really like the video, you know. So subscribe to the channel. I checked, and yes, it's still about 90% of people that do watch the channel are not even subscribed. I don't know, you know, we are, you know, also obviously people that watch the channel are, you know, on a little bit older side, you know, and so it's not so, I mean, I'm not even used to subscribing, you know, to it's just not my time, you know. So if I like something, I'll just look it up. I don't really like push that button, but it does really help us out. So if you can, you know, if you don't mind, you can turn off the notification if they bug you every time I release a video. You can turn that off. You can turn it on if you're like, well, when do they post videos? You know, I never see this. Maybe you like the, you know, you can turn the notification on, off, unsubscribe whenever you want. It's free, you know. So if you can, please, you know, do subscribe, like the videos, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the videos, give it a thumbs down. So, but thank you so much for doing all that, you know, what YouTube wants from us. But again, Kevin, thank you so much. This was an amazing idea. I had a blast. What great musicians. I mean, Tony Banks, Steve Hackett, just amazing pair of musicians with this amazing band that's Genesis. I can't wait for part 2. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.